The 91st Annual Academy Awards. It's time for predictions. Thor's hammers with some of the bigger categories.
Okay, let's get right into it. We're going to start with Best Actress, and obviously leading the way, Glenn Close in The Wife. She won the Golden Globe Award. This is her 7th nomination for an Oscar. She actually has a record. She has the most nominations and never won of any living person. I think they're almost going to combine it with like an honorary kind of thing. Plus, she's incredible in this movie. One of the best roles she's ever turned out opposite Jonathan Pryce there. I think she's going to walk away with an Oscar on Sunday, unless they decide to go to Olivia Colman. It is her first nomination, but she was absolutely sensational in The Favorite. But I think they're going to probably have her, deal with a couple of more Oscar nominations over the course of her career. She's well-deserved in this one, too. The problem with The Favorite, it's such a balancing act between her and Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone in this movie, whereas Glenn Close is so commanding and really drives the entire film of The Wife.
Do you find like it's an interesting year that all the previous award shows, the Globes, the BAFTAs, haven't really defined one clear frontrunner, and it's anybody's, category to win?
Yeah, that's a great point. We're going to get into that in a little later when we talk about Best Picture. First, let's talk Best Actor. To me, it's still going to come down to Rami Malek in Bohemian Rhapsody as former Queen frontman Freddie Mercury. There's a lot of controversy about him just lip-syncing, doing a caricature of the performance, but it was so eclectic, so full of verve, and he channeled what it was to be Freddie, and especially that was highlighted at the end there with the Live Aid performance. So I think Rami's going to get it. He also walked away with the BAFTA, the Golden Globe, and the SAG Award. He's got the momentum right now. The other possibility, I guess, Bradley Cooper in A Star Is Born. He didn't get Best Director nomination for the film, and let's stop calling him the snubs. This is only a matter of people not getting enough votes. People or movies. It's not necessarily a snub. It just comes down to you didn't get enough people voting for you. But this could be a dark horse when it comes to Best Actor or Christian Bale, but I really think Rami's going to take this one.
What about for Best Picture?
Okay, this is a wide-open race, and you mentioned we haven't had a year before where there's been a lock or anything like that. It's officially the most wide-open race in Oscar history because we've had different actors and movies in each major guild and industry group prize before the Oscars. I think it's still going to come down to Roma for Best Picture, though. The Netflix film, historic first, garnered all kinds of great attention. Alfonso Cuarón, the director, his love letter to growing up in Mexico City in the 70s, stirring portrait of culture clash, of society at a tumultuous time, and it's also up for Best Foreign Language Film, but I think this is going to take Best Picture.
And this is the first nomination for Netflix in the Best Picture category, which is a pretty big deal. And we talked about this before, the fact there's a superhero movie with Black Panther finally in the prestigious category.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to see. I mean, it was an interesting list. I still think it was a travesty that First Man wasn't nominated for Best Picture. That film's going to be revered in years to come. If it doesn't go to Roma, I think A Star Is Born is a likely candidate as well. But again, it's so wide open. This was critically acclaimed. It's a remake of a classic story. It was a darling at the box office and with critics. It's got that great sort of, rise to fame and then the downfall of another character. It cashes in on all those classic sort of Hollywood tropes and things like that. But it could go to Green Book or The Favorite. Who knows? Best Picture is going to be a fascinating one to watch.
We've got a great local twist that's up for some hardware this weekend, too.
Yes, you want to pay attention to animated short because husband and wife duo, the local team that is Allison Snowden and David Fine, they're up for their 4th nomination. They won in '95 with Bob's Birthday. We're going to be watching, wishing them the best. Now, the last time they went without a host was in 1989. Have a look at this disaster. It was Rob Lowe, it was Snow White, it was Dancing Coconuts. The producer, Alan Carr, never worked in Hollywood again. They decided to go away with the traditional hosts and the smattering of performances of well-known figures. It was talked about for a long time, and even more so now because this is the last time they didn't have a host at the Oscars, and it was a disaster.
Well, we'll see what they'll do with the opening come Sunday, the no host in 91st Annual Academy Awards. Nice preview, my man.
Thanks, buddy.